Hey, lumpy dog. It's just you and me, brother. I decided since I'm up and about and ready to go, I may as well go on. Put an extra hour in the front instead of in the back. What are these little things? Live viewers. Huh. And it's only showing 0 and you're 1. That's odd. How are you this morning? YouTube. Let's see. I can get this open. Six watching, it says. 7 watching. Car Dude. Hey, Car Dude. Angler Allen. Psychedelic Hippocampus. Row. Good gracious. Well, I'm an hour early. So, yeah, you made it. That's funny. Nashville. Nice to meet you, Angler. GRB. Good to see you guys. Really? Well, I got in early and decided I'm setting up. Ain't much else going on. I may as well go live. Got nothing better to do. Oh, Lord. Bro, I haven't heard from Lee in a couple of days. Do you know if he's okay? Let's see. Let me get. Maybe we can get you up here. And then you get back over here and do live chat. Raining in Southeast Michigan. Yeah, I kind of got a queasy stomach this morning. So I just ate a little cereal, but all I had to put in it was some kind of coffee additive thing, which I think made the problem worse. So I'm not eating any more of that. Black coffee will do me. Blah. Lee was in your stream yesterday. Good. Yeah, he's been doing videos about every day. And I guess did not do one yesterday. I gotta watch out for him. Oh, well, so I think Aquafunk is coming today. He was supposed to come yesterday, and he wound up with a honeydew list that he couldn't get around or out of. But he said he's coming today. Betsy just walked in. And I need to, what do I need to do? I need to remind her of the little turtles. Logan's, hello, Logan's. Welcome. Everybody's up early this morning. Anyway, yeah, Aquafunk's doing today at some point. I don't know when. You're backstage. Yes, you are. There she is. Let me pull. I gotta pull the microphone out to hear you. There we go.
How's that?
Well, I haven't got you yet. What's the problem here?
I don't know.
I got no sound, Ro. What's going on?
Hang on.
Nothing. Let me check over here. If I
Can you hear me now?
matter. Say something, Ro.
Can you hear me?
I got no sound anywhere. What did I do?
Go.
Oh, got it turned off. Nothing better to do. Got it now, by golly. Oh, Lord.
Mm-mm. There's feedback, I think.
What is she talking about?
Oh, she's just over here wanting to play with my printer, and I won't let her play with my printer, so she's upset.
Oh, my. She's something else.
She's rotten. I wore my hair down. I didn't know you were going early, and I've been up on the computer, and I'm like, I'm going to be early, Father Fish. So I'm sitting here getting ready, and I see the notification. I'm like, all right. So
Well, I haven't done this before, maybe 5 minutes or something. I sat here. I'm getting it up at 8 o'clock and saying, I ain't gonna sit around for an hour. What am I gonna do here?
exactly.
So might as well go on. You do it all the time.
I know, right? I hope I ain't making anybody mad, but I'll see that no one's on. And I'm like, well, heck, I'll just go. And then usually while I'm going, 2 or 3 people will go live, and I announce it. I don't care. I don't mind sharing it out. So
Larry's birthday corner. Larry piped in about 7:30 this morning and said she had to go to bed, but I guess she caught us. So
I guess she did. Hey, Lori.
Larry's Crochet Corner too. I've been watching some of the crafts channels. They're pretty interesting. Larry's and a few others. Appreciate what you people do. DJ Mitchell, first time in a live stream. Well, it'll change your life, DJ.
It'll keep you busy for sure.
Really.
Love
you, dog. Holistic Road Store. So I think I've been struggling to try to figure out how to get myself in gear to make some videos. I've got a big long list now. So I need to get to it and start making videos.
Somebody told me yesterday in the live stream that, they miss those how-to videos, the educational videos. And, we were talking about Joey from King of DIY. And, yeah, and how he used to make videos on how to make stuff and everything, and people miss that. But I was telling people, once you make those videos, they're always there. You can go back and watch them. But as a creator, you can't constantly make the same, how-to videos. You got to move on.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And that's kind of my problem. I've done all the basic stuff. I've got about 150 videos out there, and they're all topical.
Yep.
And I have struggled really since February, since I hit 1,000, to figure out what to do next. And I'm kind of 2 minds now. I'm doing this morning live stream as a way to kind of reach people and have a conversation and figure out what to do next. Here comes Betsy. Don't forget about these little guys
I
here.
fed him yesterday.
Did you? Good.
See some feathers.
Pardon?
See some feathers in here.
He apparently hit the fan last night. We have a Sun Conure, and he apparently hit the fan.
Oh shit.
And
His cage
he
was a little
seems
messed
all
up.
right. Pardon?
His cage was a little messed up. I got to take it in the other room and rearrange it.
Oh, got twisted.
Yeah.
His other cage is on the floor over here.
Okay.
It's a bigger one. It's got the bottom sitting on the top of it.
Okay.
If you want to try to fiddle with that.
Yep. I'll take a look at it. Perfect.
44 mag guy. Anyway, just trying to figure out what to do next is the issue. So I've been doing these morning live streams and decided you really got me inspired to do it every day.
Well, you got me inspired. I've been following in your footsteps, so I might go live. I've checked FishTuber's notifications, and the next live stream's at 11 this morning. Yours wasn't posted, so I'm like, well, he always goes on at 9. And I said, I'll just go on after Father Fish if no one else is going. And then we'll do it again at 3 and 4.
Right. Yeah, I'll be on till 10 this morning. And then again 3 this afternoon. I'm hoping that Aqua Funk shows up so we can do a live with him.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I like
He
Funk.
promised he's coming.
Yeah, he told me on the phone that he was coming over to see you Saturday.
Yeah, he wound up with a honeydew list that he couldn't get out of.
Well, I actually took a break yesterday, and I went up right where I live. You can go up on Mount Roosevelt and see the whole town and everything, and you get a good clear view, and you can see the Smokies on a clear day. Arya, get out from behind me. I got a 3-year-old trying to push and sit behind me in my seat, but I had went up there and watched the sunset and watched the moon come out and looked at the stars, and I needed time away from the computer for a little bit, so I headed out yesterday evening and went up there, and it was really nice. It was a wonderful day yesterday, and we've been having rain and everything, and it was lovely to sit up there and watch that and see all the lights start coming on in the town once it got dark and everything. It's cool.
Oh, that's great. Sounds wonderful.
It was a nice trip away by myself, just clear my mind, and had a lot of cool thoughts. So it was really nice to be.
Yeah, I lived in the mountains in Kentucky for about 4 years. And it's a different kind of feel from living. I've lived on the eastern shore of Maryland, which is just like where I am in Florida. It's just flat and hot and wet, and and a lot of mosquitoes, and not much else going for it, other than the crabs. Crabs is good, but it's very different being in the mountains.
It is. It's hot, humid, and you still get skeeters. So,
Car Dude has a question.
what's the question?
Well, he lives in southeast London, and the tap water is 40 ppm nitrate.
Damn.
Is this safe? Any recommendations for plants that might lower it in the tank? Don't want to have to install an RO. 40 ppm nitrate is not at all dangerous. It's not a problem. In fact, it'll be good for your fish.
Isn't that high coming out of the tap, though?
Well, it is what it is. I mean, who knows? It's a little odd.
Yeah.
It's probably not healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know why it would have organics. I mean, nitrate is not an organic material, but it derives from organic processes. So I would wonder why it's even in there, but it's not dangerous, not at those levels.
No.
And any plant, particularly floating plants or rootless plants like Anubias, Java fern, those sorts of things, or duckweed, you don't hate duckweed.
That'll
Anything that
nutrients
anything
out
that
fast.
pulls nutrition out of the water will do fine with it, and it'll lower it. Until it gets up to like 200 plus, nitrates really are not a problem. They're not toxic, so you're not going to you're not going to suffer from high nitrates, or your fish won't.
Wow. He said it's borderline legal, but they came and tested the water.
Really?
Yeah. I wouldn't drink it then.
Yeah,
If it's
me too.
borderline legal, I don't think I'd drink it. I think I'd be getting bottled water somewhere or get a well.
Yeah,
Maybe.
exactly. GRB's got it. Chesapeake Bay Seafood Restaurants. You betcha.
Do I look angry, RoboCop? Really? I
Where's
think
Rebecca?
it's that vein I got right here when I laugh or anything. This vein sticks out. It always makes me look mad and stuff. And I'm not mad. I'm happy. I just woke up, RoboCop. I won't hurt you. I promise. I don't bite hard.
DJ saying consistency is
Yes.
what he's referring to. What's he referring to?
The streams, consistency going on streams.
Well, that real. I'm in. I don't know where, week 4, I guess now, 3 or 4, and I've noticed there's a group of people who anticipate and wait for the streams, and they're new people coming in all the time. They'll always come back, but there are always new people in the stream.
I've got dedicated trolls that subscribe to me, and it's now my, it's weird. It's,
What do you mean dedicated troll? What is
I got raided one night on my late night stream. I had about 20 or 30 trolls come in, and I told my moderators just let them be. If they get too out of hand, then get rid of them. But 2 or 3 of them actually stuck around and learned some stuff about fish, and now they're subscribers. So they're my dedicated trolls. So yeah, it's fun.
I don't know if I've ever had a troll. I don't know that I have. If I had, I probably didn't recognize it.
They were asking stupid questions back to back, and I said, it's okay, let them ask. I don't mind. And I guess they got a kick at how laid back I was, and I gained their respect, I guess. And they subscribed to me. It was funny.
Richter Belmont. Long time no see. I was busy last week. I missed you. Well, thank you, Richter. Missed you too. Lee's not here, I see. And it's early. He ought to be up.
He's got a different time zone than we do.
Well, it's about, I think it's like 9 or 10 o'clock at night where he is. He's about 12 hours different. Maybe a little more.
Him and Sue gets a kick out of me and Rhett.
I think he got mad at me.
Did you see his Gollum video?
I did.
Wasn't that funny?
Yeah. I sent him it's funny. I wrote a really long letter to him, and then it got lost. It never got sent. And of course, once they're gone, they're gone. So then I did another one, and the same thing happened to that one. So I did a third one and referred to the first 2. And that one finally came through, and he seemed to like it. Yeah, that was pretty clever, wasn't it? And then his drunken kids thing.
He's a mess. I know that.
Yeah, yes, he is.
DJ Mitchell's got a question. Do you have any 29-gallon stocking suggestions?
The thing that's nice about a 29-gallon is you can do almost anything with it.
Yeah.
I had a friend who raised discus, and he kept his pairs in 29s, um, and they spawned for him, and they were big fish. They were not little fish.
My angels spawned in 10 gallons. They
But
went, my angels spawned in 10 gallons. They seem to like that better.
yeah, it's more secure for him, I guess.
I reckon.
Aquatic Conquest, hello. Stocking suggestions. You know, it kind of depends on which way you want to go. They're basically three different approaches. One is to do a single large fish, or a single fish that doesn't do well with other fish, and just put it in there and grow it out. A second is to do um, a community tank with a variety of fish, like a variety of tetras or a variety of dwarf
Dude, just gonna tell you good morning.
or a variety of other kinds of fish that get along with each other. The
Come
third
here.
is to do a colony or a breeding pair of fish and keep the young in there if they'll tolerate them so that you can have multi generations. Julita chromis and some of the other Tanganyikas are really good for that because they'll grow 3 and 4 generations in a tank. Lumpy Dog picked up a cheap 27 tote. Gonna dump the 5-gallon bucket plant cutting compost into it. Not sure if I want to substrate it or not.
Those compost tubs and tanks are interesting too, because you ain't no telling what you're gonna get.
Yeah, there she is. What a fuss budget you are.
She is being a pain right now. Say
A
hi.
fuss budget. Hello.
You want to say hi to Father Fish?
What's your name?
You're
No.
right.
Oh.
She's hateful in the morning. She's like her mom.
Don't want to say hello.
You are live. You are live too.
Hi there. You certainly are alive. What's her name?
Aria. We call her AJ.
AJ.
Yeah.
Are you having fun this morning, AJ?
She was. She thought I was just watching a video. She didn't realize I was live. Now she's being shy.
Nice. You have pretty eyes. Look at her eyes. You have pretty eyes, AJ.
Say thank you.
And a cute nose.
Here, you want to draw another sheet of paper?
Funny girl.
I'll let you use my pen.
Funny girl.
There you go. Okay, we'll get down there and get that. You can
Roxanne all over Roxanne.
There you go.
Hi, PJ.
I got to work around her most of the time. You know,
Yeah,
I got to keep her at bay while I'm tending to the fish. So,
Aquatic Conquest. I think the Crivies may have uprooted something.
thank you.
Crivensis really are not. The only time they're diggers is when they are digging under a rock to create a cave. Like they lay their eggs on the roof of a cave. So if you have a little pot in there, they'll go in and lay their eggs on the roof of the pot. But they will dig under a rock, hollow out under it, and lay their eggs on the roof of that. Flat rock.
RoboCop, I'm not sure if Father Fish ships internationally or not.
No, I don't. I did it. I used to before 9/11. I did, but it's become really difficult because you have to get all kind of permits to do it. If I were a farm or a transporter, I could do it. I may know someone who's doing it. I can look into that and see if I can piggyback on one of their shipments, maybe. I will look into it.
Don't bother Daddy now. He just woke up. He's a grumpy bear. You know that.
I can't even ship plants, Robo. I can ship dry goods, but I can't ship plants or fish, mainly because I have to go through customs to do it, which means I need a broker, which means it needs to go by air rather than by post. And it's more complicated and expensive than I care to get into at this point. I used to ship all over the world. I shipped to, remember one shipment to Hong Kong. I shipped bettas to Hong Kong that were bred in Hong Kong and shipped to Florida, and I shipped them back to Hong Kong. That was
That's
kind of
funny.
funny. World traveler betta.
Well, that's kind of like those darters. You know, I'm not allowed to catch them here, and I have to order them and then sell them that way. Otherwise, I could get in trouble for native collection. So it's weird.
Yeah, some states are just intolerable. Florida's still very open ended about that, at least for freshwater. Saltwater's a little different because of the reefs, but a lot of the stuff we have is not reef oriented at all, and there really are no controls on it. Things like the little gobies, all the invertebrates, those sorts of things.
I think they're more worried about the snakes and iguanas down there, aren't they, than they are anything else? About them invasive.
Yeah, it's a real problem.
Did I
There's
read right that they got anaconda?
oh, pardon?
Did I read somewhere correctly that they've got anaconda down there too?
Oh, probably. Lord knows. I don't know that they're established. The difficulty is things developing population centers. There
Yeah.
are there are bands of monkeys in Florida that are established in population centers. Most of them are out in the middle of the state where you never see them or hear of them. At least one, I think there are two now, elephant herds. They're according to all, but they're on very large, like 5,000-acre ranches. All of the circus elephants are living here in Florida, living out on big ranches.
So coming to Florida is like going to the Amazon in a way.
Yeah. Well, when you get down to the Everglades, it really is.
I'd say it is, seriously.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're going to have trouble when you get here because there's so much you need to see and do. We're not going to have time to do it all. You need to make a bucket list of
That's what I'm going to do.
things you really want to do. We can get
I'll
down
be
to
down a lot.
Pardon?
I'll be down a lot. So what we don't get to this time, we'll get to next time.
One of the things I'm interested in with you coming down is to look at. I've had a notion of setting up father fish stores around the country.
Someone asked me about that yesterday.
Did they really?
Yeah, they
Well,
did. And I told them, I said it could be a problem at first because I don't want it to become another Petco. And in order for it not to become another Petco, you have to open one, wait for it to be successful, then open another one, because you have to employ people that'll keep your methods true, that will, that's knowledgeable, and you have to pay them well enough to keep them there. You know,
well, see, I think the way to do it is not like
oh,
that. What we do is to help serious hobbyists take the next step with their hobby
yeah,
and set it up so that they can reach a retail population. And
yeah,
you do it with a very low overhead fish room that's open to the public.
right. Start out.
Then you focus on certain principles, like the deep sand bed. So that becomes, or whatever it is you're going to do, that becomes the the definition of that store. So a Father Fish store does a number of specific things. Number one, they don't have a big line of dry goods. They're
Right.
set up to help people succeed with their fish tanks by doing things in a very simple, straightforward way. They're breeding in their shop. They're selling stock they breed. They're bringing unusual fish in, helping people to develop new strains of fish, get into new kinds of fish. Those sorts of things that really are the meat of the hobby for a
It's
serious
lacking.
hobbyist.
Those things are lacking, and there's a niche to be filled there if anyone's willing to fill it, because there's people everywhere that would come miles around just to have somebody that'll tell them, no, you really don't need this fish in your tank if you've got this, instead of just selling them anything. That's, you pretty much go to any pet store and they're like, what do you want? And they don't, ask you what you've got, or what's your setup like, or you having any problems with it, and yada yada yada. They just sell them. They're out to sell. Not all of them.
Exactly right. And that's
But
the issue.
yeah,
Here's the thing. Every single hobbyist, like you, like me, like everybody else, is trying to figure out how to make their hobby pay for itself.
right, exactly.
And it's not hard to do.
No, it's
It
not.
really isn't. But you've got to be willing to go retail. Now that also involves going online and shipping. That's
Yeah,
part of it. That's part of the retail experience. But
yeah,
being able to be a local little shop that people in the community can come to, that builds a community, it builds more people in the hobby. It really, I think, is what needs to happen in this hobby. We need
yeah.
Father Fish stores in every town in the country.
We do. I agree.
Yeah, right.
It's just how fast can we do it, and what kind of oversight can we have? That's the only key. You've got to have people you can trust, and you've got to be able to manage the oversight to make sure that the customers are getting what they need. And I just don't. I'm afraid that if it gets expanded too fast, that if you can't have much oversight, then you run into problems, because you don't want your name out there, and then people, just say they give them the wrong advice, or say, like Petco. And I hate, there's some good Petco stores, but there's employees in there that don't know nothing about nothing, and they're selling you stuff. I just don't want that to happen with the Father Fish
Well, I
name.
think it's a matter of having standards.
Yeah,
You have to you'd have to apply to become a Father Fish store, I guess. Which means
yeah.
you have to meet certain standards. And
You
those
take the test.
standards have to include um, some contact with the customer base. So yeah, it's a matter of helping people start to build a customer base. How do you really do that? I don't know what my customer base is here right now. It's probably based on um, my my Facebook population, it's probably about 2,000, which sounds like a lot. Uh, but I've been at it here doing this for about 15 years. So,
Yeah.
if you look at it that way, it's not a lot. It's really still a very small store. My problem is I've got my overhead is too big. I got into this big building because they wanted, because I could, because
Right.
the landlord offered it to me and he was excited about it. He wanted to support a fish store and I wanted to do everything I ever dreamed of doing. So I got all excited about it and it's fun and it's been fun. But it's reached the point where I need to take the next step.
Yeah.
And the next step really is helping other people find a way to do a little shop of their own where they can support themselves and really develop a second income and maybe even a primary income. I mean, when I was a kid, that's what all the shops were.
Yeah. They're not
Nearly
now.
yeah, they were mom and pop shops that somebody had started, that the family got involved in, that grew to a point where they were able to support themselves doing it. And that can happen again.
Oh yeah, it can. It most definitely can. People are craving it. I mean, the big box one stop shop theory is good, but I think people are realizing now the service that lacks in that, and your big chain stores just don't offer the kind of service a mom and pop shop would. And I think people are beginning to recognize, we're not getting that. We're getting good discounts on stuff, but we're not getting real. Are we really? Because we're having to come back. We're having to buy stuff because we're not educated. I'm not getting told what I need to get told, and um, I think it's where they get you. And it's kind of like when I was cutting hair. I had a barber shop for 15 years, very successful, and then Great Clips moved in. And I knew at that point I needed to go ahead and get out because I knew I couldn't compete with $3 haircuts. There was no way I could. And I did the smart thing. I left before it got bad. And I watched every other mom and shop, barber shop start to fall by the wayside and end up going out of business. And now they're begging for a mom and pop shop. And because they're getting these bad haircuts and everything else. And it's like, you put us out of business, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going back to doing hair. I won't do it. Not
Do you,
now.
do you know who Precious Tranquility is? Have you
Yes.
seen her? Yeah, she's a hairdresser.
Yeah. And they
And
pay you $8 an hour to work in Great Clips. You have to go to school for this. You have to get licensed. You have to maintain a license. And you can get paid more by going to work at McDonald's. And that's sad.
yeah,
You know,
right.
and I'm thinking, this isn't what I signed up for. I wanted to have my own shop and I had a good business that could, you could raise a family on the income, but you couldn't if you worked for one of those places. So, and that's another thing too. Are you muted, Father Fish? I didn't hear you.
No, I was just looking. Lumpy Dog's got a funny comment here. That
Leave here.
funny fish would be like Hard Rock Cafe. People traveling all over the country to collect Father Fish location specific T-shirts.
Well, then
I,
that's a thought. We'll do it. Father Fish, Tennessee, Father Fish, Florida.
that's funny. That's
And
funny.
we can have, that's another thing too, if you have multiple locations, because, in one location you can specialize in shrimp, or in one location you can specialize in cichlids. And, if a customer is, say, in Tennessee, say if we had shrimp here, and I'm just speaking as an example, but they wanted cichlids, I could find the other Father Fish store that's got the cichlids,
And
and you
yeah,
can,
networking. That's right. And with shipping, it makes it easy to
yeah,
move stuff around. That's power.
and
That's
you
really
can actually
power.
ship from one location. Like if someone wanted, that fish and I didn't have it, but I know the Father Fish store in Florida had it, I can call them up and say, this customer wants this fish. Here's their address information. They could ship from there. That way, you need to mail a bunch of different places. You can just ship right to the customer if it's another fish location. So,
Right. Yeah, and the product would depend very much on the individual running the shop. I mean, some people are going to be interested in shrimp, and others in cichlids. It'll vary according to the individual, and that's fine. That's as it ought to be, and that's
yeah,
really part of the teaching experience too, is to help the hobbyist learn that they 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 can find their niche, because
yeah,
that's what they all do. Virtually every one of my customers has been successful at something, and they've stuck with that until they got bored with it, and then tried something else. But in the process, learned how to do it.
yeah.
So that by the time they went on to their second kind of fish, they had a body of experience that made it successful for them.
Exactly.
Apparently, Lee's here
Yes.
because Roxanne's complaining. She says it's her birthday and you're supposed to be nice to her because it's her birthday.
That's
So
a happy birthday.
Galamine says, "Sod off. I think he likes you." Well, she took extreme umbrage at that, Lee. So tell Gollum, even though he has no manners, to mind him anyway.
Holly says, we're lucky our Petco has Harley. He's very knowledgeable, but I lost faith when he didn't know who Father Fish was. Thank you, Holly, for the donation to me, too. That was sweet. Thank you.
Holly Gibbs. My hobby, you have to get a job, start paying its way, because 10 neons and 5 plants cost me $60 yesterday. 10 neons and 5 plants. Well, hi there. How are you? Dana's here. 5 plants, 25, and 10 neons, 30. Well, that's what it costs.
Yeah.
10 neons, like, $30 or so. Plants, 25, 55. Yeah, $60. That's
How
right.
how can those plants reproduce too? Because plants reproduce, you could propagate them too and make money off them.
Um, Hold on. Go ahead. I need to get my girl going here.
But you could propagate your plants, Holly, by taking like.
This is Tana. That's Ro. Come in here.
Hi. How are you?
Down here so they can see you. There she is.
Very pretty young lady.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Good helper, I take it.
Pardon?
She's a good helper, I take it.
She's a good helper, you bet.
Awesome.
Let's sweep the floor and work on tanks. Let's work on tanks. That always needs doing. The tanks on the back wall, the long ones that Jeff started emptying, we can finish emptying them. We're going to want to buff them out. So it's going to be a whole big job doing that. But work on the others. The big angel tank, the tall one that faces that way, has got algae on it again. So try to get that cleaned off.
Yeah,
you're going to help Betsy. Betsy always needs help.
my LFS, one of my LFS, I've been going there since I was a kid. She's super helpful, but she's the only one around that I know that'll actually tell you what you really need and will help you with stuff. And she's been trying to recruit me to open up and take over her store since I was a kid. And I've been going in there and I've been dealing with her, and I take her stuff, and I've got like unlimited store credit with her if I wanted it, but that you don't find them they're far and few in between.
She has a little local mom and pop shop, does she?
It used to be little. It used to be little, but she's got African macaws. She's got everything now.
Oh my.
Every
Wow.
bird you can imagine. She's got every fish you can imagine, and she's got a warehouse full of nothing but aquariums. And she showed it to me, and she goes, "You need to do this." And at that time, I was thinking, I was overwhelmed. I'm like, I don't know if I can. I didn't have confidence, and now after about 20 years, of life, I'm like, I could do after 4 kids and 3 divorces. I can about do anything if I set my mind to it.
Really? Where's she located?
She's in Crossville, Tennessee. So she's about 30 minutes from me. She's awesome. Her store name is Wick's Water World, but she's really cool, and she's a lot like you too. And she's old school. She's a little Vietnamese lady, and she's been into it for years. And I'll hear her tell people all the time, "No, you don't want that fish to go with this one or that one." And she probably knocks herself out of sales that way, but people come back because they said, "I'm glad you told me that. I would have killed that fish." So it's a good practice to be honest and real helpful with your customers, because it's customer retention too that you want to keep.
Yeah, that's the key to it. That's right.
Yeah, and you don't need to advertise. If you try to help, like I never advertise for my barbershop. Word of mouth goes a long, long way. Even in big cities, small towns, it goes a long way. And I think we need to, there's a lot of places that are that don't have pet stores or don't have access to local pet shops. And I think that's where we ought to start, Father Fish, is giving these people an LFS that don't have one nowhere near them.
Right. So I'm thinking I got enough here to make 4 stores.
Yeah. No joke either.
Really? And that's the thing. It really doesn't take much to get the equipment together.
Something just broke downstairs. What happened, baby? What broke?
I'm an ish.
Oh gosh. Rhett dropped the jelly, y'all. It busted all over the kitchen floor. He dropped the jelly. Should have got the squeeze bottle.
Lee says Gollymon said happy birthday. Roxanne, he's jumping around thinking he's going to get some cake.
Oh, yeah. I do. Excuse me, Father Fish. I got to take Rhett the broom. I'll be right back. Hang tight.
Lumpy Dog, are brick and mortar local fish stores as viable as internet stores? Just asking. Not many LFS still around me. All Petco, PetSmart, and so forth. Well, that's really what we're talking about, Lumpy Dog. The issue is the local Mon Pa shop had something that you can't find at the big box stores. And that something is not product. You can find product anywhere. And in fact, in the big box stores, that's what you find. You find product, notably dry goods. What you don't find in the Ma and Pa local fish store is very much in the way of dry goods. You find fish, a wide variety of fish, and you find expertise. You find people who are knowledgeable about keeping those fish and interested and willing to train, particularly new people, but anyone in learning how to keep all of these exotic fish. That's what's missing. And you really can't do that online. You can't do that. I work at it. I've been working at it almost a year now, trying to train people online. You can get certain information out there, but it's it's a hands-on kind of process where you've got a customer standing in front of you and you show them how to do something and be able to do it, and then look at what they've done, have them bring it in or get a video, whatever. The hands-on is critical to really being able to develop as a hobbyist. So it's part of it, and it's an important part of it, is that local hands-on thing. Um, I just think the best way to make that happen is to encourage hobbyists to share their hobby and to find increasing ways to share their hobby with their neighbors. Try to get into some kind of fish room, something that you can invite people into. Now,
Yeah,
you may have a zoning problem with that. Try to work around it. Try to find a way to be able to get people to come visit you. I was doing it in a double wide in the trailer park. Didn't make a lot of people happy, except the people who came in to get fish, and they were very happy. But
that's all.
that led to doing a shop, and that's kind of the key. You start where you are and try to reach out. It's not a matter of expanding. It's a matter of reaching out and trying to reach other people, offering what you have to other folks. You can do that online and you can do it locally. Facebook is a great way to reach people locally. That's really a big part of how I built my business through Facebook, because I've got people within a 50-mile range coming to visit me.
That's a good idea, Lumpy Dog. He says, what about hobbyist co-op stores? A co-op of hobbyists all contributing to a small store. Maybe that would be a bit easier, especially if they all keep different types of fish. That's similar to what Corey did when he first started Aquarium Co-op with Dean, wasn't it?
Yeah, Dean was a breeder, so he really provided an outlet for Dean to be able to move his product, and that's continued to be the case.
Oh yeah, I think it's a great idea, and that's what we're talking about.
Right, exactly. It's networking, um, and what we're doing here and now is one way of doing that networking.
Yeah,
Reaching a wider, reaching people who are doing things and finding ways to be supportive of them. So it becomes a mutual kind of process. I
yes,
think the reality is, and it's becoming increasingly clear, that the big box stores are driving themselves into a corner, and the corner is dry goods.
yeah,
That works. That works very effectively with dogs and cats and birds, because there's so many toys and so many other products that people who have dogs and cats and birds want to have. That's not true with fish. I mean,
no.
after you've bought your third castle, you don't need another one, and you don't even want the first one you bought.
That's kind of my theory behind. I don't think they care whether they die or not because they know you'll come back and get more if they do when it comes to fish, and that's kind of sad. And on the same token, you know, like you were talking about earlier with those other stores, and they offer products that they push at dry goods and stuff. And someone was talking about you yesterday in my stream about how big companies won't endorse father fish, and I said it's because big companies would lose money because of father fish's way and method. You don't need all this extra stuff like canister filters that are $800 and this and that. And I said, they don't want people to know that because that cuts into profit margins, and it's as simple as it gets.
I have good friends who are manufacturers. They're not interested in supporting me. And I understand that perfectly because I'm not interested in promoting their products.
Right.
They're friends. They're people I care about. My dearest friend in the hobby, who's dead now, maybe, golly, it's been almost 10 years. He developed a line of products that I don't use. I did at one point while he was alive before I knew any better, but his products are still out there. They've been bought out by other companies and they're still on the market. I don't use them because they're, for my purposes, in terms of my way of keeping fish, they're really worthless.
Yeah. Well, not only that, too, you get a lot of, if you are a big enough pet store, you will eventually be approached by the big box companies to buy you out. And like a lot of the chain hair salons I
Right.
had that was in Knoxville, I didn't have them, I worked at them, but
You hear right.
yeah, when
Yeah,
the big
Frank,
box, oh,
Frank.
hey, Frank.
Say hi, Frank.
Hi, Russell. I hear your voice.
Yeah, you know me, I never shut up. I can keep going and going.
Hey, I love that accent, hon.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
All country girl. All country girl. Hey, Lou, is Tana showing up today? Is she coming in?
Yeah, she's here now.
Okay. Then I don't need to rush back, right?
Right. Yeah, we're
Okay.
fine. Yeah, take your time.
All right. Cool.
All right.
Cool. All right. Very good.
You
All
bet.
right. Y'all have a great day. I'm
Thanks.
going to tune in right now, Lou.
Okay. All right.
Bye-bye.
But if you get big enough and these big box stores notice you, and if you don't kind of agree with them, or if you're hurting their business whatsoever, they will approach you to try to buy you out, just to shut you down. And you've got to watch out for that too. I know a lot of like in hair salons, a lot of like the salons I work for. This one fellow had a chain of 12 stores, and when Great Clips moved in, they offered to buy him out, and he jumped on it because he knew that he couldn't compete with it. But what they did, instead of keeping them open, they just shut them all down. So they eliminated their competition, and that's something I don't think the Father Fish brand would be interested in nor ever consider, because we're kind of trying to not really fight back the big box stores, but try to regain what was lost when they moved in, so to speak.
Well, that's right. Somebody made the comment the other day, and it might have been on one of your streams. There was a funny thing. They said that they thought people years ago who kept fish had to be wealthy.
I did.
You said that?
I did. Around
Yeah.
here, it's when I first started in the hobby, you only seen them in dentist office and doctor's office and stuff like that. And it kind of made you feel they'd always have these expensive fish. And when they would talk about it, it's like, oh, well, this fish is $1,000 and this fish is this. And I'm like, I got the impression that, God, you have to be rich to like this stuff, So I was sitting there thinking, a lot of times it's when you have a real nice, elegant aquarium, it's a status symbol too. It's
Sure.
been used as that, but that don't mean that you have to be rich to be in the hobby.
But that's really not the core of the hobby either.
No, it ain't. No.
The core of the hobby is people keeping and raising fish for the love of doing it and out of a commitment to preserve either that fish, and a lot of people are keeping fish that are endangered, or to preserve a technique, an approach to the hobby, which is really what I'm doing,
Yes.
to preserve and promote something that's kind of deeply ingrained in our personal experience. Patrick Farm had an interesting comment here about going into a big box store. He said, you go in week after week, they ask the same question, they don't recognize you. You can't get any kind of relationship. It's not much fun.
No, it's not.
And that's right. That's really the key to the local mom and pop shop. My customers, I don't remember them all. In fact, I don't remember a lot of them, particularly if they haven't been here in 6 months. And
Same
thus,
here.
I had a guy yesterday. He said, "You know that tank I bought from you?"
No.
And I stopped and I thought a minute, tried to remember him. He said, "You remember it was 2 years ago, that little tank I bought from you."
That's like hair. People come in and want their hair done. They're like, do it like you did it
Yeah.
last time. And I'm
Right.
like, it's been 6 months since you've been here. I don't remember what you got done last time. You have to
Right.
tell me. So, yeah.
Well, I said, "Oh, yeah. How's it doing?" "Oh, well, it broke." "Oh,
You're
dear."
hoping to keep the conversation going long enough that something will jive that you will remember.
Exactly. Right, right. Ugh. There was another one, Roman Clark. "Hello to Father Fish Row. I have 100-gallon dirted with gravel. I want to add a sand cap. Do I remove the mulm by gravel vacuuming before adding the sand, or do we leave the mulm in place?"
Leave it
Roman, add the sand. Don't do another thing. Add the sand, and you
Yep.
want to add it's a 100-gallon tank. You want to add a minimum of 100 pounds of sand to that tank. That should give you an inch to an inch and a half on top of the gravel. It's going to sift down in the gravel. Um, so you may even need to add more. But start with 2 bags, 250-pound bags of sand. You can rinse it if you use pool sand or black sand. You don't have to rinse it. If it makes it a little cloudy, it'll clear up in a day.
Yep.
Just go ahead and dump the sand in. What that sand is gonna hold all of that mold down and be able to provide it to the plant roots as nutrition. So it's really a way to overcome mold. If you get mold, add more sand. That'll get it down in it more deeply. So
Get more.
good job, Roman. Go for it.
Hey, Catfish Terry.
Hi, Catfish.
We've got him into the hobby now, I believe. He's getting that multi-tank addiction too.
Yeah, I saw that. Let's see. Oh, Holly's talking about a plant.
You can do black sand, Wallace. Just add sand.
Such, yeah. Black sand is anthracite coal. At least the stuff that's sold. You can buy it at Tractor Supply. It's blasting sand. There
Pretty
is other black sand. That's other material. But that's what's sold typically. Lumpy. Has anyone targeted rooted submerged stem plants to sell? Oh, yeah, sure. I just got a wonderful, I need to do a video on it today. I just got a really great shipment in from Dustin that's about 100 red plants.
Yes, Cassie C. Put dirt and the sand in it and you're good to go.
So yeah, what I was thinking about when you made that comment about being rich to have fish is that it's actually, in my experience through my childhood, was just the opposite. Poor people had fish tanks. Rich people never had fish tanks. It was too messy and dirty. Not nice. Poor people had fish tanks.
And we come from a different era. So there's different,
That's right. That's really true.
different places and different era too. So
Yeah, I'm going back to the 40s and 50s and earlier. My grandmother had a fish tank. She was from Germany, came over at 13 years old. She traveled solo on a ship from Berlin, Germany to Baltimore, Maryland to visit an uncle and stay with him so that she could emigrate to the new world, to the colonies, to the states.
awesome. That's awesome.
She did it at 13. It did not work out. She went back a year later, came back again at 14, and that time she stayed. Met my grandfather at 16, and they married and had two girls, and on and on.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but she had a fish tank. First thing she did when she got here was set up a little fish tank. I remember her fish. She never had more than one. She always only had one tank. She was never a multi-tank hobbyist. Um, but that was kind of where that was at that point. Fish were a little hard to come by, and there was not a big variety. Angelfish first came in commercially in the 30s, and they were worth thousands of dollars. Um, they were brought in by ship, so they had to live on ships for weeks and months sometimes at a time before they even got into the States. Finally, somebody started breeding them, and by the 50s, it was a big industry. So it didn't take long. Bud's coins, he used cold tillings from an old mine to crush for the black sand. Absolutely. The only thing you want to watch out for is to make sure that that it does not contain any oil derivatives. Um, some coal does. Some coal is not dry; it's wet, and it's wet with oil, and that's no good because that will suffocate the fish.
It's just gassing off, Dwight. When you have a dirty tank, you'll see it gas off, and that's exactly what it does. The bubbles go up and go out. It won't hurt your fish. It might stink a little, but it won't hurt your fish. So they do gas off. It's just nature's process of breaking stuff down and everything.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt anything, um, and it's not enough to gas you out of the house. So
No.
it's really a non-issue. The gas does not dissolve in the water. It goes through the water and into the air, and it's mostly nitrogen, which is the most common gas on our Earth. So
Yeah.
it's not even dangerous gases. There are a lot of horror stories about deep substrate gas, and they're all just that. They're all horror stories that have no bearing on reality. They're promulgated by people who have never tried to keep a deep substrate tank and really don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, they kind of and I've got a playlist on my channel, and that's I mean the internet and YouTube's a perfect tool to learn. It's a perfect tool to destroy too if you're not careful, because I've got a bunch of people that you know think they're an expert in this hobby, and they go on YouTube and make a video, and I've got bad aquarium advice list, a playlist on there on everything not to do. I go on there and it really made me mad. So I said,
Love it. Love it.
yeah, don't, and if they get upset because they find their video on my bad aquarium advice list, well, when you get on YouTube and you put yourself out there, that's exactly what you're doing. You've got to take the bad with the good, and you got to be ready for comments that may not be so pleasant. But I like feedback, even negative feedback. I learned something from negative feedback. I learned stuff from positive feedback. So
Mary Page. Good morning, everybody. I'm here. I walked out to take a break. The baby's oxygen levels have come up just slightly, indicating he's breathing some on his own.
Good.
Mercy. How long's it been now? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? 3 weeks. This baby's hanging in there. He is hanging in there.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
He's
Cassie. Father Fish, I started a 15-gallon container pond, bare bottom. Should I add 4 inches of sand or do soil sand? I started to get live food going for my bed. Good question, Cassie B.
Your tank, the glass, like where it's sealed at, like there's a crack in it and it's like pouring water out.
What tank? Which one?
Right here.
A
The one with the
crack?
goldfish.
Goldfish.
Oh.
I gotta go. They're telling me I have a cracked tank. I'll be right. What time is it? 9:30. I'll be right back. Carry on, Rob.
Okay. Cassie B, if you're wanting to put fish in there and keep it as an outdoor tub, you can leave it year round. You probably, depending on where you live, you can't leave your fish in it year round. But when temperatures allow so, you can do so. But put some dirt in it, inch of dirt. You said it's a 15-gallon container. I'd probably put an inch of dirt, 3 inches of sand, and just let it be. And Mary Page, graduating the Father Fish store. You can become a daughter of Father Fish. I love that comment. That's great. Good morning, Scott. How are you? And Lisa, I think Rhett said that you wanted one of my stickers. I'll be going live today at 4. If you would like it, I drop my email in there all the time. You can just email me and I'll send you a sticker, babe. Probably 2. Yeah, it is, Roxanne. You hear a bunch of stuff and it cracks you up because it's simply not true. And I feel sorry for the new hobbyist, that I don't feel sorry for the new hobbyist that's not willing to learn, that likes to play the blame game, but we all have failures. Some have epic failures, but we all have failures. And I don't care who you are. You could be the most novice or the most advanced in this hobby, and you're still going to have mistakes. So it doesn't matter. The reason why I converted everything to the Father Fish method is because I've got so many damn tanks that you can keep a bare bottom, you could keep a gravel substrate, you can do all that stuff, but with those things come maintenance, regular maintenance. And with the natural approach like Father Fish has, it's less maintenance. You still have to do water changes, but you don't have to gravel back. You don't have to take the mulch out if you don't want to. Sometimes it can build up and look unsightly, but it's actually beneficial. It's just like when you go to a lake. The lake isn't crystal clear, and then you look down and see dirt. You're going to have mulch, you're going to have fish poo, and it's got its benefits. And the dirty tank allows for that breakdown to happen in such a way that it's less maintenance for you. And when you've got 8 tanks in one room, 4 tanks in another, you got a bunch of tubs outside, it's that's the way to go. If you're older and it's hard for you to keep your aquarium, you need something less maintenance. That's the way to go. Yeah, Jay says, if you don't have any failures, you're not doing anything. That's true. And I'm always the type, too, that, oh, you're in Florida, Cassie C? Oh, Cassie B, sorry. It's 15 gallons. It gets about 4 hours of morning sunlight in Florida. That's perfect. That's perfect. I would recommend do a dirty bottom, put sand in it, and get you some floating plants, Cassie, because the heat down there can be brutal. Even with 4 hours of morning sunlight, here in Tennessee, I still have to put shade cloth over my mini ponds because it can be brutal. So get you some floating plants, get you some water lettuce or water hyacinth and frog bit. I do know the frog bit will tend to turn a redder color in direct sunlight versus shade. It stays bright green. It doesn't mean that it's dying. It just means that, you know, the pigment in the leaves are turning a redder color because it's getting more sunlight. But Holly says, "Oh my God, I seen one of your screw ups showed yesterday, bro." What are you talking about, Holly? I've got a lot of screw ups. Let me know.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, thank you, Lee. Lee's the ego booster. He'll boost your ego anytime you need it.
Yes, he is.
I was telling everyone why I went to your method of keeping fish is because I've got 8 tanks in one room, 4 in the other, a bunch of tubs outside, and I told them bare bottom and gravel. That's not bad if you do the maintenance, and that's the thing. You can have whatever you want, but it's a lot more maintenance. If you want an easy setup tank with less maintenance, a dirty tank capped with sand is the best way to go. Still change water, but it's not nearly maintenance.
Yeah, who was talking about the outdoor tubs and doing them bare bottom or dirt? Who was that? CB?
Yeah.
Yeah. Depending on what you're trying to do with the outdoor tub, you say you're trying to raise microscopic light, trying to raise shrimp, scuds, whatever for your fish. The best way to do that is with a dirted bottom, and you can use just topsoil. You can use potting soil. You can use dirt from the yard. You can use leaf litter. Leaf litter is especially good.
Compost.
You can use compost, small amount, and don't cap it. Leave it open. It'll settle. You're going to stir it up every time you go in there with a net, but it'll settle back out. But that's really the best way to try to raise things like scuds and other very small or microscopic life. If you've got fish in it that are moving around a lot and stirring it up, then yeah, you want to cap it with sand. But for
Cassie B, I thought you were going to be putting fish in it. I told her to put sand in it because I thought she was going to be putting fish in it. It's a cool home for your beta to live for a few. She's in Florida, so she could leave it out there for a while. But
yeah,
also,
and it'll be fine. You can put the betta in there. Put a pair of bettas in.
Yeah.
Spawn in there, and in a matter of 2 months, you'll have hundreds of little bettas, half an inch to an inch long.
I did tell her since it's a 15-gallon, she says it gets 4 hours of morning sunlight. And I told her even here in Tennessee, my smaller containers, even when they get 4 hours of sunlight, it's still a lot to get some floating plants to put in there. And what kind of floating plants would you recommend to her?
You know, anything. It doesn't really matter.
She said she had water hyacinth.
She has what?
Water hyacinth.
Oh, hyacinth. Yeah, most of the thing you got to watch with the floating plants is they will completely cover and block out the light from getting into the rest of the tank. Not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
Particularly if you're trying to raise little stuff. Water hyacinth is going to be better than duckweed. The problem with duckweed is when you go to harvest your stock, you can't separate the duckweed from it, and it gets into everything. Whereas with a water hyacinth, it's a big enough plant, and you can just take it out and fish out your food. Lumpy Dog, Y-tube creators all struggle for ideas. So when they hear or see something on another channel, they do the same video with their spin on it, making misinformation spread like wildfire, or information. I've noticed more and more of the YouTubers have been around for a while are getting around to doing deep substrate videos.
That's like Lucas Brett's LRB Aquatics. He's got natural aquariums, and he just look at his stock. Look at some of his stuff. I mean, it's you can't go wrong with it. Even in one of my dirty tanks, I've got and I made it a dirty tank and kept it with sand, not realizing I was going to be putting loaches in there. And I've got a red-tailed zebra loach that digs up that dirt all the time. And it's probably the best tank I've got. Even though the dirt's out on top of the sand, it's still, and it's rich dirt too. It's actually more like compost that I put in there. But plants are loving it. Everything's doing good. I've got a platy trying to breed with a swordtail in there. That poor swordtail is getting harassed.
Yeah, Lucas is an absolute substrate genius.
Yes, he is.
He runs the gamut from bare bottom to deep substrate and is successful with all of it, which proves something really important. And that is there is no one solution.
Right.
I'm not promoting deep substrates as the only way to do a fish tank. I'm promoting it as the best way for a beginner to be successful because it's simple. It's simple, it's straightforward, it's easy. It's something you haven't tried, probably.
Mary Page had a question, Father Fish. She asked it twice, and that was if she graduates from the Father Fish school, does that mean she becomes a daughter of Father Fish?
Becomes a what?
A daughter.
Oh, a daughter.
Yeah. That's what we should do. Our employees should have like son of Father Fish or daughter of Father Fish on their shirts.
That's funny.
You know?
That's funny. That's funny. I like it.
Lumpy Dog said, Lucas is all wrong. You can't have a proper aquarium without a $300 canister filter or sump. Laugh out loud.
Yeah,
that's what makes you believe in some of these big boats.
Lucas has been through all that stuff. He went through all the hang on the backs and all the canisters and all that. We all have. If we've been around for a while, I've been through it, been through all of it. And it winds up breaking down for the last time and you throw it away. Put it out in the back room and 10 years later throw it away.
I've got all hang-on back filters on my stuff because that's what I had. But if I could get a Gemco with a bunch of sponge filters, that's the way I'd go. And that's the way when I eventually have my fish room, that's what I'm going to have. It's just simple. They don't mess up like a hang-on back or other canister filters. And I never understood a canister filter anyways. If you're going to go through all that trouble cleaning a canister filter, won't you just have a sump?
Yeah, exactly.
I never understood it.
Sumps are wonderful. It's
easy
a second tank. You can have fish in it.
Yeah. You can have plants and fish in it. Like if you have a crayfish tank and you can't have nothing in there because they'll devastate any plants, or you could have a sump with all your plants in it that's lit, and you could have other fish in it, and it would work out perfect. It'd be great symbiotic relationship there. And you can't keep plants in a canister filter. You can't keep fish in it.
Right.
So, I mean.
Here we go. Lee's idea is Lady Mary Page Flynn.
There you go. There you go. We'll just do a court. We'll give everybody their titles.
Right. Son of Sir Father Fish.
There you go. We'll have to do all those fancy titles. I don't even know them, but I'm sure Lee does. I'm sure everybody's got like a not somebody in the Father Fish franchise or something,
Yeah, right.
Graduate to different ranks. That would be fun.
Cassie B. So much life in mine, I don't know what it all is. It got there from the water hyacinth. Even got a shrimp that way.
There you go.
Billy Dog. When I first started with a hobby, I bought into what they were selling. I ended up buying a couple of canister filters. Now I have a bunch of sponge filters.
And which do you like best? Which is
Really?
easier? Which
Good
tears up more often?
Right. Roll be the queen, Mary Page says. I don't know. We got a couple of challengers here for queen. I think Mary Page, you're one of them. You are a queen, but Rose got her toes in it. She's
Yeah.
down here in the mud.
Shit, I got my
Down
boots
here in the
on.
mud. Yeah, that's right. Lisa. Oh, Chevy Fish is another one.
Yes.
Chevy Fish is astounding. This woman
Mhm.
probably knows more than all of the rest of us put together.
Yeah, but she's gonna have to be one of those in the office that only one person can see, because she's so shy.
Yeah,
She's so full
yeah.
of knowledge. I wish
I
she'd
know.
come out and make videos, but she's shy. So we got to. That's the challenge. Let's break Chevy Fish into coming out and quit being so shy. Come on out. We don't care. I don't
Really,
know, Mary. I'm not so sure if I know what I'm doing. It's more like, hey, let's try this, see if it works or fails. You never know. So it's like a bunch of the
listen,
trade
let me
plants.
just say about Chevy. I've talked to her at length and in depth, and she has very, very good reasons for her shyness.
Does she?
She does. I mean, it's not just a giggly little girl thing. It's
Right.
serious and it's profound. But I
Gotcha.
still, but even knowing that, I firmly believe there is such love for her and support and interest in her that she could brave it. She could do it. She's a very gutsy woman. She's an enormously gutsy woman. Someday she needs to tell her story. It's a story that'll bring you to your knees. I mean, she's an astoundingly impressive person.
I don't know her that well. I just know she's got a lot of knowledge on fish.
She sure does.
She's a
She's spent
gem.
her, spent her whole life in Chicago in all of the clubs and knows all the big fish keepers in the Chicago area. Has been
Awesome.
around it for years and years. She is a master breeder. She's bred successfully hundreds and hundreds of species of fish. Utterly amazing woman.
Yes.
Roxanne, love Chevy Fish. I'm sure her ears are burning about now.
Yes.
Sam Dam, hello, Mary.
We're talking about Chevy Fish. She could answer any question you have just as well as I can, or father fish.
You
She
bet.
is.
You bet.
That's it. Sam said, "Who are we talking about?" And I was letting him know that's who we were talking about. I am so excited, and I can't wait to get down there to Florida because there's so much. I feel honored that Father Fish would have me to take on this responsibility, and I'll be glad to. And I'm happy and tickled to death at the same time. I'm like a giddy little girl right now. I
Oh,
can't.
I just revel in other people's sweat. I'm gonna put you to work.
That will be fine with me. I like the work. Trust me. Um, a lot of people. I'm getting a lot of terrestrial plants and sticking them in the aquarium just to see what they would do. Um, I've got spider plants right now that I have figured out that if you bury them completely, that they will rot in the substrate. But if you leave their little rhizomes, I guess, sticking out, they're fine underwater.
Yeah,
And I'm playing around with a bunch of terrestrial plants and like a polka dot plant, they'll grow underwater. They tend to grow more straight up because they want to reach the surface, but they'll grow. It's cool. But I'm playing around with that.
Rohan's talking about plants he saw with huge leaves stacked on each other, growing out of a canal, and floating plants the size of his hand. They all work. Any of the emergent plants will also grow in water as immersed plants. They may lose their leaves, but they'll grow back. And usually the leaf will take on a different appearance, a different character. A lot of farmers grow plants that we sell immersed. They grow them in mud.
Yep.
Startups. My farmer doesn't do that, but there are a lot that do. J. Rowe used to do the gravel with plastic plants and vacuum.
Yeah.
In my 55, did you read this before?
No, I'm just laughing because I did it too.
Maintenance wasn't fun. I tore it down and it sat idle for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
Until I saw how easy planted dirted tanks are. Amen, Joe. Amen, J. Rowe.
I got tickled because Rhett said, I'm excited for Rochelle and Father Fish, but I'm not excited about going to Florida. That's my old man, And someone asked him why not, and it's because he was in federal prison in Coleman, Florida, for 4 years. That's why he don't want to go.
Oh my God!
So,
Florida's not a nice place to be in prison.
Well, actually, it was a nice prison. Federal facilities are nice. State prisons are not so nice.
Yeah, I don't know any people in Fed. I know a bunch of people in state. Good, bad, and indifferent. I knew some good people and some bad people.
Yeah. Well, the federal facilities got theaters. They've got workout gyms. They've got everything you could think of. Free education. People are getting their doctorate degrees in federal prisons. So, I mean, it's crazy, but that's a joke. If you guys, a lot of people in the Fish fam knows that he was in prison. And so they're like, well, why don't you want to come to Florida? Or why don't you want to do this? But we're real open with it. We don't care. So, yes, they do have AC in prison. Billy Dog, at least in federal prison, they do. So, I've never.
What happened with the tank? It was shooting out a jet of water. The second time it's done that. I got a handful of dirt and held it inside the tank over the hole, and it clogged it up and blocked it. But that tank we're about done with it. I think that tank is going to come out of there. I've got a half round 200 or 250 that's going to go in that spot right as you walk into the fish room. It'll be very dramatic, very pretty. We got to get it in place, get the other one out of there, and then figure out what we're going to put in it. It really ought to have salt water, but I probably won't do that. I'll probably do it as a sculpted, planted tank that I will not sell out of.
A sculpting tank planted, you said?
Sculptured.
Sculpted tank. Yeah. Okay, got you.
Yeah.
I got to send you some sculpins, Father Fish.
Oh, I'd love to have some.
I was going to go collecting yesterday, but I'm going to go today instead. And every time it rains, the water flow in that creek is just amazingly high to where it's hard to catch really anything because it goes right past the nets because it's too much flow. But today it should be good.
Here you go. Hat Trick opened his shop in '83 when he was 19.
Awesome.
So in '84 he was 20. So that's 50. So he's like pushing 60. 19 from '83 is 64. Born in '64, it's 24 years younger than me. That's 56.
Jay said Father Fish is like the Dutch boy with his finger, and that's all he said because that hole in his neck.
Really? inch of sand, just stick dirt in it.
Yeah. See, dirt's the answer to everything. Leaks, good substrate. Just throw some dirt at it. That should
Right,
be the slogan too. Throw dirt at it.
right.
Father
Uh,
Fish hat trick's a woman.
Pardon?
Hat trick's a woman.
Hat trick is a woman. Oh, okay.
I
Sorry.
didn't know either. I'm glad you said something I didn't know either.
Down the wormhole is here.
Well, that's one good thing about plastic plants, Rohan. They won't die on you.
No, but they deteriorate,
They do.
and
They
they because they're made out of plastic, they become toxic. It's not bad toxic, but it's toxic.
What about silk plants? I know they got those too. I never had any of those, but
Yeah, they're very nice. They rot.
yeah.
You really can't keep them in water long term. Hat trick says, "Father Fish, I'm a woman." You know, and I knew that. I just didn't. It didn't register with me. I don't know what that is. We need to identify ourselves more clearly, folks.
Yeah.
You know, blue and pink or something. I don't know.
What's funny is one of my dedicated trolls, I should say, and I think his name's Scared Music, but he said, "Where's your dad at?" Talking about Rhett. And he didn't know. Yeah, it was because there's a 20-year age gap between us, and he goes, "Where's your dad at today?"
Funny.
I got tickled. Hello, Yellow Submarine.
44 watching. I got 37 likes.
That's awesome. We got a question.
Yeah,
Does limestone add calcium to the water?
limestone. Yes, it
Calcite.
does.
It'd be calcite, wouldn't it?
It adds carbonates.
Yeah,
Yeah,
buffers water.
which is exactly what you want to buffer the water and hold up the pH. So yeah, limestone's good. You can overdo it. I mean,
Yeah.
you can limestone to the point where nothing will live in it. It'll be so hard, it'll be like soap.
That's
So,
what I got in my tubs outside is crushed oyster shell just to, because our rainwater can be well, the last time I checked the rainwater, it was 7.0, but it could be on the acidic side a little bit. So I just throw some oyster shell in it.
oyster shell's perfect. It's never gonna drive the pH more than about 7.5 to 8.0.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Lee is thinking Baroness Chevy Fish. Not bad, not bad. We need a real name for it to be official. Baroness Chevy Fish. I don't know her real name. I just don't remember it.
Thunder said limestone is not good for pistos and shrimp. It is for Neocaridina shrimp.
Yeah, the Neos do better with it. Apistos. It depends on the apisto. A lot of them, the Florida bred, here we go. Good example of what happens with domestic bred fish. Apistogrammas are from salt acid water, but they are bred here in Florida, at least, in hard alkaline water. And they are adjusted and adapted to it, such that you can't put them in salt acid water and have them be as healthy as they are in the water they were born in, the hard alkaline water. So, you know, a lot of these, if you're talking about fish out of the wild, that's one thing. But if you're talking about fish that are bred for generations in captivity, it's a completely different issue.
Yeah.
Fish are highly adaptable creatures.
You can go wrong by finding out if you're trying to replicate, if you bought a fish at a pet store and you're trying to replicate its natural environment where it hails from, you're going to mess up. You need to ask the fish store, is this a wild caught fish or is this a captive bred fish? Because that tells you, that alone will tell you what kind of water to keep it in. Because even if its natural habitat is soft acidic water, and they're kept, just like Father Fish said, in a pet store in hard alkaline water, and you go home thinking you're going to, replicate it, you're going to kill your fish. Whenever you put hard water fish in acidic water, it's bad news. But the opposite, you're going from acid to hard water, it's not bad. Funk is in the house. Good morning, Funk. You going to Father Fish today? Or you got another honeydew list?
Where is he? Where are you, Funk?
The
Massey Report.
Yeah, that's Rhett. We changed his name.
That's cool. I like it.
Thank you. It's not PG on his channel.
Lumpy dog. Best saying of the day. A man that shaves his beard for a woman doesn't deserve either.
There you go. There you go.
Climbing all over Lee there. I notice he's growing it back out pretty quick. He's got a good half an inch growth going there. Oh, Lumpy dog. There goes the live stream. It'll be all funked up now.
Yep.
All
Yep.
again. I love the addition of neons to my female betta sorority tank. That sounds nice. I like that. I'll tell you another one that's real pretty is the rice fish, the blue rice fish. It's iridescent blue with blue eyes. Exquisite fish.
Good morning, Michael.
Lumpy Dog said he did it for his mother. Lumpy
That's
Dog.
cool.
I mean, Lee. Lee said he did it for his mother. Any excuse will do, Lee. It doesn't matter. You can say anything you want to say, and we'll believe you.
He looked a lot like that Gollum character, right?
Really? That was a doppelganger. He has a doppelganger living in his home.
I'm telling you what, scary creature.
I would be, if I ran into somebody that looked like Lee.
We can't back Lee now.
I
Lee's
don't
our
like to be able to breathe. Aquatic contest. I always say contest. Why do we do that?
I do too. I don't know. It rolls off the tongue, contest.
Yeah, funny. Howard is here. Hi, Howard. That's why I hadn't had discus until recently. Because used to everyone made them so hard to care for. Yeah. Lord knows. And the Germans still do. They still want you to do all kind of crazy stuff with their discus. I get Asian discus. They are hard as a rock. I never have a problem with them. I can throw them in my tanks. They don't even need 85-degree water. I got them in 82, and they're happy and doing well.
If you buy anything from me, it's hardened off. I can guarantee you that. It's if it lives through shipment, it'll live for you. Because I don't baby anything. I kind of keep it because they're going to go through a lot. You want to toughen them up. And if Funk's there today, I'm gonna whip him. Give him a good whooping.
Roxanne Lee says you're at the king and the queen's table. I'm thinking Sheriff Roxanne, because you're smart and know a vagabond when you see one. A vagabond, is it?
Rohan asked, does wood only last a few years? I think it would last a lot longer because it seems like some of the driftwood would take a few years to sink itself.
Depends whether it's hardwood or softwood.
And
Soft-
plecos eat it.
Yeah, softwood will deteriorate much more quickly than hardwood. Hardwood will last forever.
What about putting
So-
cedar in there?
What?
What about cedar? Someone asked me about putting
That's a
cedar in there.
hardwood. Cedar's a hardwood. Yeah, cedar will last for years and years.
Wouldn't it make the water just like any other driftwood a little acidic? And I know cedar's got some antifungal properties too, don't it?
Yeah, it depends on how long it's been seasoned and how well it's been seasoned. When I'm collecting driftwood, I like to collect from creeks, and I collect only that wood that has obviously been in there for years.
Yeah.
That's very, very well worn, or driftwood on the beach. That's very kind of burned out, dried out, very well worn, wormholed, and so forth. I never put anything that looks the least bit green, or for that matter, that has bark on it. If it's
Yeah.
got bark on it, it's green. I
Yeah.
don't care what else. If it's got bark, it's not seasoned. And you cannot season wood. It takes, to do it properly, requires literally years to properly season driftwood.
I go collect because around here we get floods, not major floods. Sometimes we get major floods, but I live 2 minutes from the Watts Bar Lake area, and every time it floods, I get a load. I fill up my pickup truck with a load of driftwood every time, and some of it sinks right off the bat, some of it doesn't, and I collect it and I keep it and I throw it in my pond, and I actually sell driftwood on Get Gills that has been in my tanks that has already sunk, that's been seasoned, and I let nature do that years and years, and I go collect it and I do a little bit more of it. But I sell dry driftwood and I sell driftwood that's already alive with bacteria and everything else too. So some people get some that'll sink right away. So that's what I try to do.
Yellow Submarine's asking about the logo. I had this logo made, 20 years ago. I had an artist working for me, and she did a bunch of things. This is one of the things that lasted. She put, I don't know if I can get close enough. She put a pipe in my mouth. It was pre-beard, and there are birds, fish, and reptiles. So it was kind of an early iteration of Father Fish Aquarium. It really is not particularly appropriate anymore. It's colorful and it's kind of pretty, and
It looks like a Navy tattoo.
yeah, it's kind of pretty.
It is pretty.
But I have another one. Let me see if I can pull these up. I've got some really neat ones. If I can figure out how to do this. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to get on. I've got a picture of my shop. See if I can find it. Early on, when the paint was fresh and clean. Kobe, that's not it. Here it is. Try and get this to come up. Well, I don't think I can make it very big. Let's see if I can get it to come up now. Huh.
Won't work for you?
I don't know. No, it's not.
Mary Kate is asking about trying to find a stump to top it off. Are you trying to find a stump to like the root system to turn it over to make it look like a tree? Is that what you're talking about, Mary?
Don't put it in your fish tank. unless that tree has been dead for years. And even then, I wouldn't do it. It's going to be bleeding into your tank for as long as you have the tank set up.
Unless you want a black water tank.
Yeah, and I've got one. That's exactly what my tank is. The
I
black
like
water tank. It's exactly what it is. Here, I got it. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that?
I better not touch my screen. Not really.
Yeah, it's too tiny.
Yeah, you could probably touch it and expand it on your computer, though.
Yeah, I tried to do it and it didn't. That's what the white box is. Tried to
Ah,
expand it and it wouldn't. I need to blow it up. It's a great picture. Um,
nice
anyway,
storefront.
yeah, I'm thinking about using that on maybe one side of the cup or T-shirt or whatever. All right, and I would get rid of this like that.
Mary Page said, yeah, that is what she was thinking about. Father Fish tank. Yeah, if you want a black water tank, and I love a black water tank, I think it's pretty. And it adds tannins to the water, and it's good for your fish too. But a lot
Yeah,
of people don't like it. They don't like the tannins in the water, and ow, that was my foot. Sorry, my foot just.
yeah. Blackwater tank is the long-term project. I've had mine set up for 4 years, and I'm just beginning to become a little bit satisfied with it.
It's
It takes
beautiful.
it really takes a long time to get them right. You have to let them sit and age.
Yeah.
Michael Kirby wanted to say Father Fish is wanted to hear Father Fish say, add 1 more inch of sand.
You have said that a lot. Well, just add another inch to it. It'll be all right.
Really?
Yeah, it does, Mary. Takes a lot of dedication for the, which, I get a lot of black water tanks simply because I'll throw driftwood in there and it ain't done bleeding. And like this, I've got to turn this way. You see that beta? I actually just threw a little sweet gum pod in there, and it already put that much tannins in there. People think that water's dirty. It's not. It's got tannins in it. And I did that because the tetras ate all of his fins off, and I wanted those tannins in there to help him, to kind of recover and grow his fins back. And he's grown them back, but he seems to like the tannins, so I try to keep my betta happy.
Let's see. Lisa wanted to get a bumper sticker. Anybody who wants a bumper sticker or a sticker, and I'm looking. Oh, here's the sticker. A bumper sticker or a sticker. Send me your address to my email, and I'm going to post that. I'm getting a new website, so I will have a new email address, and I'll have a website. Probably be 1st of September or so when it's ready to go.
That's
So,
when you'll be there.
yeah, I haven't had a website in a lot of years.
Who are you going to go through? Are you going to set it up yourself, or are you going to have someone else set it up?
I'm paying somebody to do. Well, as a matter of fact,
That's the way to go.
one of our he's not on here right now. J Dog is doing my website.
I didn't know J Dog could do that.
Yeah, he's another one with a really interesting story. He's married to a Philippine woman, and they're planning, as soon as COVID is done and the borders are open, to move to the Philippines permanently.
You're going to get your stickers, Lee. I just don't know how to ship internationally yet, or I've never sent postage internationally, so I'll get it for you.
You just buy a little more expensive stamp is all. It's real
That is-
simple. Just go to the post office and they'll sell you a stamp.
Now, Lee, you're going to have to send me you sent me like 3 addresses. So send me another email with the true address you want me to send it to. Because I don't know if you were playing or for real.
Yeah, not Gulliman's address.
No. Mains, Tails, Furs, and Fins said I'm doing a website through Vista Prints. I looked into Shopify and other places, and they've got a nice and easy setup most of the time. But one of the problems I have with it is they make more money off you than you do your website. And I have a problem with that. And that's why I like to get Gil's, because he takes a percentage of what you sell. If you don't sell anything, then you don't have to send out $30 or $40 a month. So
Yeah, Aquavid works the same way.
yeah.
They're both real good fish sites. Aquafunk is going to be with us at 3:00. I don't know if he'll be here or at home, but either way, we'll be joined by Aquafunk at 3:00. And it's now 10 after 10, so we're running a little over.
Is
Pickle
everybody
sign.
going live right now?
Are you going to go live, Ro?
Yeah, I think there's somebody coming on at 11, so I'll go on live for until 11. And I think we got some people in chat that's oh, Michael, you don't want to put your address in chat, baby. You need to send it through an email. I think I'll go live if you guys want for about 40, 50 minutes until the 11 o'clock comes on. I checked Facebook for fish tube notifications, and the earliest I seen was 11, and then there was someone at 12. So, Funk's coming to you, Father Fish. He's in the shower washing all of his crevices, he said, so he can get
I read that. Going to your place. Yeah, good. Okay. Well, that'll be nice. We'll have fun. All right. Well, goodbye, everybody. Flip over to Ro. She'll be with you for another half hour, 40 minutes or so. And I will see you back here at 3 this afternoon. Take care for now.
At 4. All right. Bye, guys.
And Ro will be at 4, right? God bless all. See you at 3.